A new era of the Dark Knight is set to begin under the watchful eye and steady hand of comic book great Chip Zdarsky. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman issue number 125 and find out together, shall we? So then, as we open up the book, Bruce is having himself a terrifying nightmare featuring all of his closest friends and family getting slain by not one, not two, but 3 Jokers. Silly Batman, 3 Jokers can't hurt you anymore. It's not 2020 anymore. Bruce admits that this is all a little suspicious considering that he doesn't really dream. Yes, that's right, Bruce Wayne is such a well-oiled machine with such great mastery over himself, he chooses whether or not to dream. And if he's having a nightmare right now, it probably means that his self-conscious is trying to tell him something. And who's the first person that Bruce chooses to tell? Well, Selina Kyle, the Catwoman. Selina tries her utmost to be supportive, but eagle-eyed readers will notice it seems that her and Bruce aren't together anymore and that Selina is seeing another man named Valmont. I'm sure this small part of the story will go and incense a lot of different shippers out there, but if I've said it once, I've said it a billion times. I really don't care who our heroes date and for how long. Batman's been around for 80 plus years. He'll fall in and out of love 100 more times long after you and I are both dead. Now, it's not long after that Batman gets a call about a quickly evolving hostage situation. It seems that a lone gunman has barricaded himself inside an apartment and is telling the cops to stay back. Batman goes full-on ninja mode and manages to infiltrate the building by sticking to the shadows. He scares the ever-loving crap out of the gunman who says, "My God," before Batman responds, "No, not even close." So yeah, if you've been waiting with bated breath to see what voice Chip Zdarsky chooses for the Dark Knight, well, there you go. It's dark and gravelly and kind of Frank Miller-y. You know, but like the good years of Frank Miller we all like, not the newer stuff that's way more divisive. In fact, later on in the book, they make a direct reference to year 1. Now, while Batman was able to make short work of the gunman, he was unfortunately not fast enough to save the married couple that he had taken hostage from getting murdered. Here's the crazy thing, Bruce actually knows the husband. Apparently he too was quite the rich playboy in his youth, and Bruce regularly used his friendship to try and gain access to exclusive events. Recently though, the guy had really calmed down in marriage though, and even told Bruce that he should find someone and do the same. Why exactly would he be murdered? Well, this is where things start to get interesting. Apparently the gunman was inspired by the words of the Penguin, famous Gotham mob figure who has rebranded himself as a fiery populist. One who has set his sights very firmly on the rich and well-connected of Gotham City, saying that any person who has ever inherited more than $5 million should be marked for death unless they give it away. Obviously, Batman is quick to call out the Penguin's hypocrisy on this one. Oh, really? The rich are evil because they inherited their money and did nothing to earn it? Your name is Oswald Chesterfield Cobblepot. Your family was rich too. In fact, you built your entire criminal empire with the help of inherited money. It's also around this time too we're reminded that Tim Drake Robin is actually going to be a big part of this series going forward, and it's nice to see Batman and Robin teamed up again. We don't get nearly as much of that as we used to. Tim, as always, acts as sympathetic ear and voice of reason. He says that him and the rest of the Bat family have actually started to worry about Bruce ever since he lost most of his own fortune several runs ago now. Batman admits now that he doesn't have to do near as much rich guy stuff to keep up appearances. He stopped getting invited to all these fancy exclusive events, which is sort of a shame because to crack this case, he's gonna have to go back undercover as Bruce. Batman and Robin figure that if the Penguin really is gunning for the rich elites of Gotham City, he's probably going to strike at the yearly art gala ball. Why, you might be wondering? Would all these rich people decide to hang out in one room when they know full well that they're getting picked off? Well, the answer is quite obvious. Batman himself even says it in so many words, "People in this city crave death." Though Batman does begrudgingly admit he enjoys putting the Bruce Wayne costume back on again. His life has fallen out of balance and he will have to try and put it right. Hell, Batman even has a lot of very nice compliments for Tim Drake, saying he's a good man, a good soldier, a good Robin, one who is able to do his hero work while also dealing with and coming to terms with new revelations in his own personal life. Again, this seems to be as close as the book is going to get to mentioning what's going on in the Megan Fitzsimmons work. Now, this isn't Batman and Robin's first rodeo. They know in situations like this, villains usually use gas to try and kill entire rooms full of people, and indeed the Penguin's plan was the same. The plan is for Robin to go to the basement and neutralize the gas canisters while Batman goes to face the Penguin head on, though admittedly Bruce says that none of this feels like Penguin's style. Normally he's content hiding behind his money and his legion of guards. Normally he likes to hang to a certain sort of legitimacy, but attacking people in the open like this? This is an escalation, and well, that's because this isn't actually the Penguin at all Batman is dealing with, but instead Clayface. Don't ask me which Clayface. I know last time we saw Basil Karlo, he was actually a member of the Bat family, which sadly does not get brought up here, but interestingly enough, Batman says that the last time he battled Clayface, he came up with a new idea to take him down. A special new chemical compound that could turn clay into plastic explosives, meaning that Clayface better back off right now before he goes boom. All manner of chaos begins to break out in the party, and at the absolute height of it all, poor Tim ends up getting shot in the neck by one of the goons' bullets. Clayface is actually guilt-tripped into helping regular civilians survive a bunch of falling debris before Batman runs off to try and get Tim to a hospital. Yes, that's right, an actual hospital. Leslie won't do this time. Tim actually brings up the fact that if he's bringing him to a real hospital, he's going to have to change him out of his Robin costume lest people begin to get wise about their secret identities. This in turn gives Bruce horrible flashbacks to the night when Jason died and when he once again had to change a Robin out of his costume. Luckily, Bruce is able to get Tim to the hospital in time. It seems that he'll live, but the question still remains, where is the real Penguin? Well, the answer is he's not far, he's at the hospital too. As we discover, Oswald is actually dying of mercury poison, and before he sheds this mortal coil, he wanted to go out with one big bang. Also, they don't say that he has mercury poisoning because of all the raw fish he eats, but let's face it, that's why. Naturally, the Dark Knight is full of questions. Why attack the rich? Why now? As Penguin puts it, he spent his whole life trying to be part of high society, trying to rub elbows with the elites. But it seemed that no matter what he did, no matter how much fortune he amassed, be it legitimate or illegitimate, they always looked down on him like some sort of sick, twisted freak because, well, I mean, look at him. Penguin also goes on to say that his own bar, the Iceberg Lounge, was something of a playground for Gotham's rich and famous, a place wherein he saw the true face of these so-called legitimate rich folk. People like, well, Bruce's dead friend who would get drunk and paw the waitresses like they were wild animals. Here's the real twist though, the last rich person on Penguin's hit list was none other than Batman himself. Obviously, you couldn't be a superhero like Batman unless you were either wealthy yourself or funded by a rich person. How does a sick and dying Penguin plan to take Batman out though? Well, with a little help from a cyanide tablet, that is. Yep, that's right everyone. Penguin frames Batman for his own death. And I mean, think about it, he makes a pretty great suspect. Batman was the last person to see Penguin alive, and he had motive considering what the Penguin's henchmen did to Robin. It's after this Batman is forced to go to ground. Oracle tells him that despite everything, crime is actually down across the city, almost as if criminals are afraid that they might be next now that Batman's a killer. But the real hammer is still yet to fall, as somewhere deep in the bowels of the abandoned, dust-covered Batcave, a Failsafe program activates. What does that mean? I don't know. I guess we'll all have to read the next issue to find out, won't we? And so that was Batman issue number 125, everybody. Expectations were obviously high to see what Chip Zdarsky would do on this series, considering what he's been doing over in the Daredevil book, and I'm happy to say he comes out swinging with actually a much darker and grimmer Batman story than I think we've gotten in the mainline books for a while now. Obviously, I made all those Frank Miller allusions before, and they certainly seem accurate in my mind. Now, we've certainly seen stories before where Batman is framed for murder and is forced to clear his good name, yada yada yada, but I trust Zdarsky to take this one into some interesting new directions. Mainly the mystery of who and what this new fail-safe robot is. It looks like something that Alfred and Bruce had actually created together. As far as killing longtime Batman foes like Penguin goes, meh again. Tell me your favorite Penguin story of the last 20 years. Yeah, I thought so. Everyone dies, they all come back eventually. Why not Penguin have a turn? Overall, I'd feel comfortable giving this one an 8 out of 10, a pretty solid start.
Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.